Okay, carrying on. Then Joan fell asleep. I thought her mouth hung open the way my dad's does when he falls asleep in front of the television. I thought this would be a good time to talk with Sinead. Talk behind her back, why don't you? She snapped right back at me. I looked at her and she was right. I resigned this little car trip as a total loss. I wasn't going to get either of these women to like me. She was quite beautiful, though. Her features were small and she looked like a child. Hers wasn't anger. She was innocent in her manner and fought to maintain it. I couldn't win her over with one pithy, witty thing. I understood her. She was quite beautiful. I wished I had looked at her for half a second less because we hit a deer. Joan, Joan awoke just in time to see it fly over the car. I don't know why that's funny. My first instinct was to drive away as fast as possible, like I had, like I had when I hit the. My first instinct was to drive away as fast as possible, like I had when when I hit, like I had when like I had when I hit that crossing guard years ago. Oh my God, I floored it. I floored it. What the hell? What the hell are you doing? Screamed Sinead. I didn't answer her. Now it was my turn to be all quiet and snotty. I think it's still moving. She looked out the rear window. We've got to go back. I ignored her and she ignored me. All she did was grab the wheel and whip it so the car spun out of control at 60 miles an hour, screeching and screaming. I was screaming. We were all screaming. I tried to grab her neck, but the centrifugal force made it impossible to peel myself from the driver's side door. We stopped miraculously in the center of the road, facing the fallen deer, as smoke rose around us. It lay there, panting, looking at us, perhaps thinking we had turned around to finish him off. He was a fully mature deer. His tree-like antlers bore the stroke of a buck in his prime. They were a majestic crown and would have been even more majestic if they were on his head, but they lay splintered on the road. I felt sick. On Sinead's insistence, I turned off the engine and rolled the car toward the deer, trying not to frighten it. Look, I said, here comes a friendly, quiet Plymouth Duster. For a second, I wished I was that deer, because it was about to get all the attention that I was trying to get earlier. Sinead stepped out of the car and slowly approached the deer. She put her hand in front of its snout and patted it on its head. I would have driven off right there if Joan wasn't in the car. I think that's why Joan didn't get out. He has a broken leg and the wind knocked out of him, but I think he's going to be okay, said Sinead without looking up. We need to get him to a vet and have his leg set. We put the deer on the hood of my car and strapped him down with some duct tape and threw the antlers in the trunk. The air was hot and the car bordered on overheating with the added weight of the deer on the hood. Only when he lifted his head into the wind like a dog could I see the road. I drove mostly with my head out the window. The last thing I wanted to do was hit another stupid deer. We didn't have the room. We drove for another 20 minutes and we were getting close to the rally. Other activists passed us, noticed Joan and Sinead and waved. Then they noticed the deer on the hood and looked back at us in horror. That's not funny. That's not funny. My God, they think we hunted and killed this thing, said Sinead. They think I shot and killed it. We are taking it to the vet, she screamed at the car. Another car passed. We are taking it to a vet, she screamed again. Why don't you duck down, I said. No, that is what you would do. Another car passed and the same thing happened. They smiled at us, saw the deer, and looked back with disgust. She gave them the finger. In fact, she flipped off every car from Vernon all the way to Lupton, where we met the veterinarian. It was quicker to the point. She didn't need to explain herself to anyone. We passed some houses that lined the highway, and you could smell the barbecuing. It seemed like every house was cooking steaks. I didn't bother to mention this to the two of them because I knew they were vegetarians. What's that smell? Asked Sinead. Barbecuing, I yelled over the din of the roaring engine and the wind rushing in the windows. It reminds me of when I was a little girl and we would roast pig outdoors. You ate meat then? I did, and I liked it. I like the taste of it. I even like the smell of it. It's something primal, I think. Yeah, but I can't in good conscience eat any living thing now when I know how the animals are treated. Right on. Well, as it turns out, no one was barbecuing that day. Well, maybe somebody was, but that wasn't what we were smelling. We were smelling the deer cooking on the hood of my car. I noticed it first because that row of houses were miles behind us, and I could still smell those steaks. I didn't know what to do, so I did what I always do. I did nothing. I immediately did nothing. If the deer could speak, I don't think he would have said anything either. I don't think he would have turned around and said, "I'm cooking on the hood of this car, take me off." He was still alive, yes, but he wasn't groaning and he wasn't trying to free himself. I believe the deer wanted to die. "Pull over," said Sinead. "Why?" I asked with feigned ignorance. "Pull over," she said through her clenched jaws. We freed the deer, and the side that rested on the car was done. 2 more minutes and it would have been burnt. Oh, no, 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 I can't read that. Okay. "It's about time we flip her over, wouldn't you say?" I said. You are the most you are the most insensitive son of a bitch I have ever run across, and I've met some butts. The animal is being cooked alive, and you joke like it's not really happening. Look, Sinead, I think this whole day is not happening. Who would believe this? You've treated me like scum since we met, and now you treat this dumb animal as if it was somehow going to get you into the rally. You told me back there that was barbecuing, when you knew this thing was being cooked alive. I really thought it was barbecuing. I don't believe you. The deer made a break for the woods, but it ran so slow that we continued to argue. Pointing at it, she said, "That poor beast had only a broken leg and was in mild shock. Now it's burnt on half of its body. It's probably going to die." "Nothing is going to kill that stupid thing, Sinead." The deer hobbled up the road. "He's getting away," she said. The deer stopped on the opposite side of the road, just as an oncoming car came into view.